Hello there. So on December 2nd of 2017, I was struck by a vehicle that was traveling over 70 kilometers an hour coming from this street, Dovercourt, which is a huge, wide street, 4 lanes, including the parking spots, flying down here and driving across College to get to the other side, which I believe is Dundas, and taking a shortcut so that this person could return their rental SUV. And this driver had no insurance. And I just walked out of this gym on my way back to Calgary to pick up my petroleum engineering degree around 5 o'clock. Today is, I believe, January 28th, 2023. So this street, you can see, steeps down. So anybody going over 70 kilometers an hour, and this street is designated as 40 kilometers an hour, flying from the street, doesn't know what's ahead of here. After this driver struck me, he crush rolled me while I leaned against my vehicle, a 2006 BMW Z4 M Coupe that I've owned for approximately 6 years, and lean against the same spot by the rear end where my body doesn't stick out at all. So the driver flew down here and this is the gym I just walked out of. I was trying to put in one workout before the 3 to 4 day drive back to Calgary. As you can see, everything around here is at the same level except for this street. So we're just going to wait for the light to turn. But after this driver hit and crush rolled me between my parked vehicle, which would be the first down vehicle at the bottom, and a designated government parking spot on the street, the guy fled the scene and started to move his vehicle erratically back and forth. Apparently, where I got hit is 2 houses from a police station. So we're going to walk down once this light turns. In the meantime, the one thing you'll notice is that this street is not big. It's not 4 lanes. It's a single lane street that is shared in a bi-directional, and the vehicles have to coordinate themselves. So for somebody that's speeding down this area, which you see people taking their time, you're not going to have the ability to control yourself. And at the time that I got hit, there was a vehicle to my right, and everybody's coordinating to let each other pass. So you're about to see the condition of the street. So that night, or actually that evening around 5 p.m., see where that SUV is moving down below? That's where I got hit. So you'll see how this street all of a sudden becomes a single lane street. And the flow of these vehicles right now is the direction that he was coming. And I'm the first parked vehicle at that intersection of Dovercourt and Hayden. So I'm parked where these vehicles are right now. And you'll see how vehicles right now brake check and check their gapping. You'll also notice that this street is not marked or divided. It's designated 40 kilometers an hour. Very little lights. But here's something more significant, is that this street immediately loses, well, there's snow down here, but you'll notice how this street right here shifts instantly. And I got hit down there where that person is standing, I believe. That's the first parking spot. And you see this? This street has a sidewalk shift over 5 feet. You see that? See that line? And if you follow it, the sidewalk instantly starts this way. So it has an instant taper. And that leaves very little room for the vehicles to cross. Now you're gonna watch this car. See how they're passing? You gotta control your speed. And that happened right where the sidewalk shifts and loses. A single lane street that's not marked, and it shifts over. And I got hit right there, as you can see, the first designated spot on December 2nd of 2017. You'll see some shading on the ground because they did construction on the street recently, so you'll see a refraction of the light, but that's not marking or anything. It's just, I believe, new tar. So I was parking here and got hit. And you can see the size of the streets. Again, you have to coordinate. At the same time, there's also a school where I got hit. Right there is the gym where I got hit. There's a kindergarten school, so I don't know why the guy is speeding like this. And when he tried to flee after hitting me, he's moving up and down this street like this, erratically back and forth. I stopped him right here. After 15 minutes of him watching me laid across the roof of my vehicle, I came across here, blocked this path right here. The SUV stopped because he was going back and forth. So the front of the vehicle is facing me. He got out over here. I'm trying to call for help. Struggling with my hands that's not functioning. With my arms are not, at that time, were not functioning. It took 15 minutes for my body to regain function. My arms took an additional 15 minutes. And I struggled with my right hand. He put his arm on my right forearm as I struggled to tilt up. It's almost like this, but with my other hand. And I was struggling, and then he pushed it down and said that he's a paramedic. And I laid over here, and he examined me, saying he's a paramedic, and I believed him. And the guy just disappeared. And then he went to hide the SUV that he hit me with. So at the time, because he's facing downwards, facing this direction with his front here, back that way, I'm seeing his driver's side, not his passenger side. So I can't even see the damages. But when he hit me, there's a huge, deep imploding sound. So again, you see a daycare here. You see the traffic. It's a very small street. And then just for sizing, you can see how the vehicles just sort of travel. They have to coordinate themselves because there's no marker. And everybody, as long as you're driving the speed limit, you can mark yourself and position yourself for each other to coordinate. Now, I got hit where that vehicle is right now. So you can see there's an apartment building here, another apartment building. So 2 buildings over is 14th Division Police Station. So this is why the guy didn't want to flee after he hit me. As you can see, it's just a very short distance, a little over 50, 60 feet only is the police station. So at the other side of the police station, the same intersection, is where the guy had the rental SUV that he had to return. And it was an Enterprise rental SUV owned by Enterprise Holdings. The guy had no insurance. As one of the emails that was kept from me, where the lawyer stated, the driver had no insurance policy coverage of any kind at the time that he hit me. And my lawyers, even my own insurance company, hid this information from me. So I struggled to get into this parking lot. We waited for the guy to show up. He didn't show up for a long time, maybe an hour or so. So where that person's sitting is where I waited. And then when he showed up with a mountain bike. And then when they asked him where the vehicle was, when he told them, the police were surprised that it was only literally at that intersection, a minute walk away. And the guy was gone for 40 minutes to an hour just to hide the SUV from the police, which was not even found until over a week later. And yet, to this day, there's no investigation, no tickets, no charges, absolutely nothing.